What's up guys, Jayesh here from Tech Simplified. In this video I'll be showing you guys how to make a custom Google form. So you can send this Google form to your friends, families or potential customers through email, embed it in a website or WhatsApp them a link. They can fill up the form which you have created and you can see their responses in the backend. So to make a Google form, first go to the official Google Forms website, type Google Forms in Google, and I think the first website that will pop up will bring you to this page. Now I'll drop a link of this page in the description so you guys can access it. Now to make a new form, as you can see there are existing templates in the gallery. There are 4 templates which they offer, and if you scroll down here you'll see the forms which you've created. I've already created a couple of forms, that's why they're showing over here. If you haven't, then this area would be vacant. Now I won't be using any of the templates. I'll click on this blank option and we'll start from scratch. Now the first thing you'll notice is here, as you can see over here, you have to give name to your form and you can give a form description. On the right hand side you'll see over here this is a tool, Spell It, using which you can add questions, make changes to the way your forms look, add images and all those things. We'll look into each one in detail. Now first up, let us give this form a name, and let us make a form where we are asking customers what type of lubricant oil they are using in their engine. Are they happy with or not? Are they happy with or not? And all those things. So let us give it a name. Let us say lubricant lubricant survey form. Now the customer would be able to see this name, so choose wisely. Now let us give it a description. You can type whatever you want. I am not going to type that and waste your time. You can type, you get the picture. You have to just use the words which describe the forms better. Now as you can see, a pre-made question is already there. Just click on this untitled question and now you can edit and type your question. Now let me add a basic question. Which lubricant do you use for your car? Okay, this is a basic question. As you can see on the right, if I click on this little arrow, here are all the various options which you can choose. You can choose a short answer. Let me click on short answer. As you can see, short answer means a short one-line answer which the end user can fill in. Now there's an option for paragraph. Paragraph is basically a long answer. You can add 2, 3, 4, 5 lines if you want. Now next is multiple choice question. This is by far the most common one which most people use, and we'll see this in more detail as well. Then there is check boxes, there are drop downs. There's an option for file upload too. So if you want someone to upload a file, maybe it's a JPEG, PNG or a PDF, they can do that too. Then there's a linear scale which basically looks like 0 is bad, 5 is great, and you have to just adjust the slider and the results will be recorded. There's multiple choice grid, there's checkbox grid, there's date and there's time. So for this, which lubricant do you use for your car? I think short answer is a good one. The customer will give a one-word answer. Okay, so now once we are happy with this question, let us add a second question. Click on this plus, add question mark, and here you can add new question. Now let us add how often do you lubricate your engine, something like that. And this time around, let us select multiple choice. Now to give option 1, just click on option 1 and you can type in, let us say 1 month. Second option, again just type in 2 months. Third option, let's say 5 months, and in the last option let us click other. Basically the customer will add accordingly the answer. If you don't want to add other, then you can add the fourth option as well, and you can add more options if you want, but in my case this looks good, so I'll leave it as it is. Now in the bottom you'll see there's an option to duplicate, which means you can duplicate this question. If you're having almost the same type of answers for a couple of questions, then you can duplicate it to speed up the form making process. Then there's a delete option, you can delete the question. Then there's a required field. So if I click on this, it would be mandatory for the person who's answering this form to give answer to this form. So if you want to make this question mandatory, just click on it and it will be made mandatory. Now on the right hand side ribbon here, you'll see apart from add question, there's an import option button. Let me click on it. And if you have made a form previously, then those forms will come up and you can just copy or import some questions, or basically all the questions from those form to this current form to speed up your form making process. We'll not do that, but there's an option for that too. Then there is add title and description option, add image option, add video option. Then there's an option for add section. Now what does this add title and description means is, now let me click on it. As you can see, just like this title, we've got a second title and description option. So let us say you're having a particular question before which you want to tell your customer what type of question is this. Then you can use this and give your title appropriately so that the user can understand the question which is coming forth. This is a useful feature. I won't use it right now, but there's an option for that too. Let me click on this delete. And then there's an option for image. Image is also good. Let me click on this image. And as you can see, you can just browse or drag and drop a file over here. And let me just put the image over here. Let me just select my logo. Click on open. And give it some time. As you can see, the image is inserted and you can give your image a name. Now basically this comes handy when, let's say, you want to ask questions to a user based on an image. Let's say you're making a logo and you want to ask your customers how is this logo, you guys like it or not. Then you can just put an image, and below this you can add a question where you're asking them how is the above logo, and you can give them 4 options, or basically use a slider or something like that. Again, for this form, this doesn't look appropriate to me, so I'll delete it. The same way we use the image, in the same way you can use the video as well. Just add a video, and below that you can add questions and ask the customers questions based on the video which you posted above. So we'll not go into it, but there's an option for that too. Now let me add another question. Click on this plus icon. Now let us ask let us ask something like checkbox. Which brand lubricant do you use? Now in the checkbox, let us write first one. Let's say something like Castrol. I don't know this is a lubricant or not. I'm just writing names. Shell, Indian Oil, and let's say none. Now what difference? Now the difference between checkbox and this, I think this is called radio button, I don't know exactly what it is called, is that in this the end user or the person who's taking the survey can only select one option, whereas in checkboxes he can click on multiple options. So when we are asking for a customer which brand of lubricant he is using, I think it makes sense to add a checkbox, because at times people use different types of lubricant, so why not give them an option to select multiple ones. Now let me add another question. Add question, and in the multiple choice question, let us go with linear scale, and let us write a question something like, how satisfied are you with your existing lubricant? Now based on a scale of 1 to 5, you can change this to 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 1 to 10. You can play around with it. I'll leave it to default. Well, let us say 1 is not happy. Sorry, my typing is bad. And the last one in 5, let us say great. Okay. And apart from these, there's a option of date, time. Basically it's self-explanatory. Just if you want to ask your customer, which date you have purchased something or something like that. You can add this and the customer will be able to select the date. There's an option for time too, which is also self-explanatory. Multiple choice grid and checkbox grid are same as well. You can add multiple options, 8 to 9 options in a grid like format. I will not do that. It's self-explanatory. I think you guys would be able to do it without my instructions. Now at last, there's one option which I want to show you guys is the add section option. As you can see on the right hand side, there's an option for add section. Now this is a useful option too. Now let us say we are making this entire form in one section and we are having close to 18-19 questions. So the person who is filling this form might get bored and he will not even fill the form if he sees 19 questions. Let me just preview this form so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Let us click on this eye icon, to preview. Just click on it and the preview will appear. As you can see, lubricant survey form. Here's the description which I wrote. Here's the first question. I can add feedback. Then there are these radio buttons on which I can add my answer. Then there's the third question which is having check boxes, so I can select multiple answers. Then there's the scale on which I can rate how happy I am. And as you can see over here, there is this submit button. Once I click on the submit, my response will be submitted. Now, as you would have seen that all the 4 questions are appearing in a single page. If you're having 19 questions, then all the questions will appear in this single page. And most people, to be very frank with you, won't answer or give up in the middle. So ideally, you should break your form into sections. Small sections, so that each section are having 3-4 questions so that people will answer it. Now let me add a section. Let me click on this add section button. And as you can see, a new section is added. Let me give this a name. Lubrication, let us keep it same. Survey 2. And you can describe it as well. And let me add a question on it. Something like, are you willing to change your lubricant? Now let me select this multiple choice. First is yes, second one is no, and now let me go ahead and preview the form. As you can see, this is the first section. And once the first section is ended, you'll see this next button. So let me click on this next button and the second section will appear. So this makes easy for the person who is filling the form to see only 3 to 4 questions in one page, and once he has answered that, he can click on next and answer those instead of having all the 19 questions in just one page. So this is also a good feature you should look into. Now in the end, you can change the way how your form looks. Let me click on this customize theme option, and from here you can select an image for your header. This is basically the header section. Let me click on choose an image. Now there are options available, ready-made options available, or you can upload a custom image from here. Let me click on this image. Click on insert. And as you can see over here, the image is inserted. Then there's an option for theme color too. If you want, you can change the theme color. Now first let me get rid of this image, and as you can see, the color is changing over here on the header. This is the theme color option. Then there's an option to change the background color as well. As you can see, the background color is getting changed. I like to keep it white. Then there's an option for fonts too. Now as you can see, the fonts are changing. Now I would recommend you guys to keep the font to the basic one, because our ultimate goal is to keep this form as simple as possible. If we use a more complex form, the end user, the customer, will find it difficult to answer or basically read the question. So you should keep it simple. Now click on this settings icon. As you can see over here, there's an option to collect email addresses, and there's an option to limit only one response per user. This is also a good one if you don't want to skew the data which you're getting from your forms. Now let me click on this limit to one response, so that everyone who wants to answer this form basically will have to sign in using his Google ID, so that only with one Google ID you can answer only that particular form only one time. Then there's an option for edit after submit. If someone has submitted his form, can he edit the answers which you've given? If you want that to be done, then click on this. I'll leave that to be unchecked. There's an option for summary chart and text responses. So after answering all the questions, the person would be able to see the answers which I've given in a summary form. So I'll leave that unchecked as well. No need for that. Then there's an option for presentation. As you can see over here, the first option is show progress bars. On the top, there'll be a bar basically giving the person who's filling the form an idea about where he has reached. Now if you want, you can check that. I will leave that unchecked. Then there's an option for shuffle questions order. This will basically shuffle the order of your question. If you want, you can check that too. And if you want, you can add a custom confirmation message, so that after the person has given his response, he'll see a message over here. So this is the default message. If you want, you can add your custom messages too. Then there are quizzes as well. This is I think this requires a separate video. I won't go into it. Now let me click on save once we're happy with all those things, and the form is now saved. Now let me click on preview again. Let me click on these two previews, cancel these two previews. So this is how our final form looks. As you can see, there are two separate sections as well. And there's a submit button. When he clicks on the submit button, the form will be submitted and we will get response. Now the response is calculated, response is recorded over here, as you can see in the responses. Now if you fill this, let me just fill it randomly. So now I've filled the form. As you can see over here, the response is recorded and you'll see a summary in a graphical way as well. And if you click on this Excel, that is create spreadsheet, then it will bring you to a spreadsheet. Let me click on this create. It will create a spreadsheet for you, which will have all the details, or basically all the responses. As you'll see, the first column is a timestamp, when the person has answered your form. Then here are all the questions and what answer he has given. So this is pretty powerful to get an idea of how basically your person is the customer is responding. Now once you're happy with your form, then to publish the form, just click on this send button. Now you can directly mail this form to your customers or to your friends, whoever you want to answer. Just enter their email ID, change the subject if you want, then write a small message and you can click on send. The most popular option of sharing a form, which most people do, is they make a link. So now you can just make a link and share this link with your potential customers. You can shorten this link as well. As you can see over here, just copy it and either mail it or WhatsApp it, Facebook it to your customers. If you want to embed this form in your website, then there's an option for that too, as you can see over here. Now so this is how you can send the form as well. Now let me hit on cancel. I think after this brief overview of how Google Forms work, how to create a Google form, you'll be able to make basically any type of Google Forms which you want. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, then please consider subscribing. If you're having any doubts in this, then please ask me in the comment section. If you have any video recommendations, then please let me know in the comment section too. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.